Welcome back, Focus Learners. Today we're doing something incredibly exciting. We're counting down the absolute pinnacle of industry-altering game design. It's a real top 10 list of the greats. So get ready to press start because this is the explainer of the top 10 video game masterpieces of all time.
But before we jump right into the numbers, we really have to ask ourselves, what actually takes a video game from being just a fun distraction to a timeless masterpiece? Well, for this list, our criteria is pretty strict. We aren't just looking at games that are a blast to play. We're looking for those incredibly special, interactive experiences that layered on massive new innovations and permanently changed the medium itself.
Okay, let's dive into this. Level 1, Masterpieces 10 through 8.
Kicking off our countdown at number 10 is Valve's absolute classic, Half-Life 2. I mean, few games have ever changed first-person shooters as dramatically as this one did. Even though it's over 20 years old now, which is crazy to think about, its revolutionary physics engine and highly intelligent enemy AI set a benchmark that modern shooters are literally still borrowing from today. Think about how the gravity gun alone completely redefined how players interacted with virtual physics. Plus, you're totally immersed in City 17, with the story unfolding naturally right around Gordon Freeman without ever yanking you out of the gameplay for a lengthy cutscene.
At number 9, we have a game we've all inevitably lost hundreds of hours to. Bethesda's The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. This game delivered just absolutely unprecedented freedom. You want to become a dragon slayer? Go for it. An assassin, a blacksmith, a mage, or, let's be real, inevitably a stealth archer? You can do it all. It's a true masterpiece, and it's been kept alive and thriving for well over a decade now, entirely thanks to an incredibly dedicated modding community that just keeps building on those hundreds of hours of handcrafted exploration.
See that mountain? You can climb it. I'm sure you've heard that before, right? Those exact words practically defined a whole generation of RPGs. And Skyrim actually delivered on that bold promise, offering a level of exploration and sheer wanderlust that had never really been achieved on quite that scale before.
Taking the number 8 spot is the Super Nintendo classic Chrono Trigger. This is often called the greatest JRPG ever created, and honestly, it's easy to see why. This masterpiece was built by an absolute dream team of developers. It featured incredibly inventive time travel mechanics, super memorable characters, and multiple endings. But, the really crucial point here is the pacing. There is virtually zero filler. Unlike so many of the bloated RPGs that kind of dominate the market today, Chrono Trigger profoundly respected the player's time, all while delivering one of gaming's greatest soundtracks and an unforgettable adventure.
All right, let's keep this momentum going. Level 2, Masterpieces 7 through 5.
Earning the number 7 spot is a game that truly proved the medium had grown up, Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. Now, it is so important to understand that this wasn't just another zombie survival game. Not at all. This was a cinematic, emotional triumph that helped prove games could stand right alongside blockbuster films and prestige television as a premier storytelling medium. The entire experience is driven by Joel and Ellie's relationship, which evolves so naturally through the gameplay and quiet conversations, making every single frantic, terrifying encounter feel intensely personal.
Now think about how incredibly rare it is for a single game to spawn a genre so distinct that it actually gets its own new label. Well, enter the Souls-like. It's an entire gaming genre born from rewarding patience, observation, and perseverance, where every single victory feels totally and completely earned.
And the game responsible for that label, and let's be honest, probably millions of broken controllers worldwide, comes in at number 6, from Software's Dark Souls. This game demands excellence from you. And in return, every shortcut you discover is wildly exhilarating, and every brutal boss you finally manage to defeat becomes a deeply memorable accomplishment. But even beyond the punishing challenge, its meticulously interconnected world design remains one of the absolute finest structural achievements ever created in any medium.
Breaking into the top 5, we have the legendary Super Mario Bros. 3 for the NES. This title practically wrote the rulebook for 2D platformers. What makes it a masterpiece is that nearly every single level introduces a fresh mechanic, perfectly executes it, and then just moves right on to the next brilliant idea. With its tight controls, unforgettable power-ups, and just incredible polish, it felt decades ahead of its time. Its flawless pacing is a masterclass that's still being closely studied by game designers today.
We are getting into the really rare air now. Level 3, Masterpieces, 4 to 2.
Narrowly missing the top 3, landing at number 4 is Rockstar Games' Red Dead Redemption 2. Yes, this is Arthur Morgan's story, but really, it's a massive, interactive frontier epic.
Very few games have ever created a world that feels quite this alive. The sheer scale is breathtaking. The wildlife behaves naturally, the NPCs actually remember your past interactions with them, and the completely unpredictable random encounters make every single journey you take totally unique. It honestly feels less like a video game and more like a living, breathing world.
Before we reveal number 3, we have to talk about Z-targeting. This was an innovation that fundamentally revolutionized 3D combat by allowing players to lock onto specific targets. It seems so unbelievably basic to us today, but someone had to invent it and make it the absolute gold standard for all modern action mechanics.
And the game that pioneered that exact system, taking our number 3 spot, is The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64. Its DNA is everywhere today. Seriously. It pioneered the puzzle-filled dungeons that became the industry's gold standard, and it flawlessly blended exploration, storytelling, progression, and some of the most iconic music in gaming history into one massively influential adventure.
Taking the runner-up spot at number 2 isn't a cinematic epic at all, but a canvas, Minecraft. There is simply no other game that has inspired creativity on this unprecedented scale. Using nothing more than basic blocks, players have recreated entire cities, famous landmarks, complex scientific simulations, and, get this, even functioning computers inside the game itself. Whether you view it as a survival challenge, an educational tool, or an engineering sandbox, Minecraft is undeniably one of the most important creative canvases ever made.
Okay, take a breath. Bonus stage, honorable mentions. Super Metroid, Portal 2, Metal Gear Solid, Mass Effect 2, Resident Evil 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 7, Super Mario 64, Tetris, Shadow of the Colossus. Wow. Each of these absolute legends radically reshaped their genres. Honestly, on any other day, any single one of them could make an incredibly compelling case for a spot in the top 10.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is we've reached the very top, boss level, the crown.
If a true masterpiece permanently changes how designers think about game design, only one title deserves the absolute top of our list. Our number 1 video game masterpiece is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This game completely dismantled the traditional open-world formula. Nearly every single mountain you see, you can actually climb it. Every puzzle or problem has multiple, completely valid solutions. The brilliant physics system actively encourages you to experiment, rather than limiting you to some set path. And the exploration is driven entirely by your own genuine curiosity, completely freeing you from those cluttered, overwhelming objective markers of the past.
The crucial point here comes down to a simple, brilliant shift in philosophy. Instead of developers constantly asking, can the player do this, Breath of the Wild's design philosophy simply answers with, why not? You want to experiment with the physics system to create a completely unexpected, weird solution to a problem? Why not? This single philosophy of total player freedom is already defining countless modern open-world games, and it firmly cements it as the defining work of interactive entertainment. As we look at the unbelievable innovations across all these titles on our countdown, it's clear that the mechanics of tomorrow are being built today. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. What will the next game-changing masterpiece look like? How will it redefine the way we play? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Focus learners, keep exploring, keep playing, and I'll catch you in the next one.